Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Yesterday, we left Peter poised, ready to jump out of the boat to join Jesus walking on the water. He had called out over the wind and waves, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." We've got to give him credit. Instead of just jumping out of the boat and trying it for himself, Peter wisely waited for Jesus' command. He knew this walking on water stuff wasn't something he could do on his own. He needed Jesus to affirm him, to call him clearly. That's another thing about us walking on water. Sometimes we may get a great idea and try to run with it, but fall flat on our faces because we didn't wait for God's clear call and His timing. But as I read somewhere, if you're going to get out of the boat in the middle of the Sea of Galilee, in the dark, in a storm, you'd better be sure Jesus said, "Come." What do you think Jesus did when He heard Peter's request? I think He smiled. Jesus had had a long day. After being rejected by his hometown of Nazareth, he'd heard of John the Baptist's death. He'd tried to get alone to pray and grieve, but multitudes had followed him. With compassion, he taught and healed them, and then fed them before sending them away. He'd even sent the disciples on the boat so that he could spend time alone with his Father. But his day wasn't over yet. Matthew says this story happened during the fourth watch, between 3 and 6 a.m. He'd been up all night. Likely, Jesus was physically drained, but I'd almost guarantee that he smiled at Peter's request and hollered back, "Come!" When I was little, my dad was teaching me to swim. He'd stand me on the edge of the pool, stand back, and with a grin, he'd say, "Come on, swim to Daddy." I'd eagerly jump in the water and kick my little legs vigorously, trying to get to my daddy. Unbeknownst to me, my dad at the same time would be backing up slowly. So instead of swimming only a couple of feet, when he picked me up out of the water and turned me around, I'd find that I had swum halfway across the pool. Now, it doesn't say that's what Jesus did here, but with his Father's heart for Peter, I can see him holding out his arms, beckoning with a smile, and watching Peter's first tentative, then more confident steps. He was doing it. Peter was walking on water. But Jesus also saw the very moment when Peter glanced at the waves. When his eyes returned to Jesus, they had fear in them. And at that moment, when he saw the wind and waves, Peter began to sink. I hate to leave poor Peter in this predicament, but do you see what happened? He took his eyes off of Jesus and looked at his circumstances. Even for a moment, he focused on the storm instead of on the Lord. It reminds me of the analogy of the race in Hebrews 12:1 and 2. Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. It's so hard not to look at our circumstances. But when we do, our logic kicks in and we realize, I can't do this. And we're right, we can't, not on our own. But we can do all things through Christ who gives us strength, right? What He calls us to, He equips us to do. When has circumstances caused you to panic? The next time it happens, what can you do?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.